with Canada. The president announcing he's ending trade talks with Canada effective immediately after Canada moved to tax companies like Amazon, Google, Meta, and Uber. President Trump writing the move is a direct and blatant attack on our country. All of it as the Supreme Court delivered a big win to the Trump administration, reining in federal judges' power to stop presidential executive orders. Part of that battle over birthright citizenship. Our team is across it tonight, and we start with Gabe Gutierrez at the White House.
Tonight, President Trump vowing to expand this trade war, cutting off trade talks with Canada because of a new Canadian tax on American tech companies, calling it a direct and blatant attack on our country.
It's not going to work out well for Canada. They were foolish to do it. And so I said we're going to stop all negotiations with Canada right now until they straighten out their act.
The president says a new tariff on Canada would be announced within a week.
We have all the cards. We have every single one. We don't want to do anything bad, but they have, economically, we have such power over Canada. I'd rather not use it.
Canada is the second largest U.S. trading partner. Its prime minister responding to the president's latest move late today.
We'll continue to conduct these complex negotiations in the best interest of Canadians. This negotiation.
The president today, in a wide-ranging news conference, also slammed Iran's supreme leader for his first public comments since the U.S. airstrikes on the country's nuclear program, insisting the U.S. achieved nothing.
You're a man of great faith, a man who's highly respected in his country. You have to tell the truth. You got beat to hell. And Israel is beat up too.
While Iran's foreign minister today acknowledging U.S. airstrikes had inflicted significant and serious damage to its nuclear sites. President Trump was also asked if Iran tried to enrich uranium again to a concerning level.
Would you consider bombing the country again?
Without question, absolutely.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez joins us now. Gabe, let's go back to that clash with Canada. The threat of new tariffs not stopping Wall Street and some 401ks from reaching record highs today?
Yes, Tom, the S&P 500 closed at a new record high. The tech-heavy NASDAQ also just hit a new all-time high, despite all that trade uncertainty. And today, the Treasury Secretary also signaled the administration could push past its self-imposed July 9th deadline for more trade deals. Tom?
Okay, Gabe Gutierrez, thanks for that. Now to the big day, the Supreme Court delivering a major victory to President Trump, limiting the ability of individual federal judges to put the brakes on his executive orders. Laura Jarrett has this one.
Tonight, a sweeping victory for the president in his battle with federal judges who blocked key portions of his agenda.
This was a big decision. An amazing decision.
The justices in a 6-3 ruling significantly limiting the power of individual lower court judges to issue decisions with nationwide effect. Those judges handing down more than 24 injunctions blocking Trump executive actions as of May, from military service to federal funding to the focus of the current case, a nationwide injunction halting his executive order banning birthright citizenship.
We've seen a handful of radical left judges effectively try to overrule the rightful powers of the president to stop the American people from getting the policies that they voted for in record numbers.
Justice Amy Coney Barrett, writing for the conservative majority today, finding lower court judges have gone too far with their nationwide orders, writing, when a court concludes that the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its power too. The ruling sparking a pointed clash between the justices. Liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor dissenting, saying, today's decision is not just egregiously wrong, it is also a travesty for the rule of law. The High Court not asked to rule on the merits of the president's effort to ban the birthright citizenship provided under the Constitution to the babies of undocumented immigrants.
That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation.
One of the undocumented pregnant women who originally sued the Trump administration, with her baby now due in 2 weeks, asking to remain anonymous today,
La verdad que me siento muy triste.
telling us she is very sad, not knowing if her child will be granted citizenship,
La respuesta, tener una respuesta especialmente...
but going to keep fighting. Meantime, the High Court also wading into fresh clashes over the First Amendment. The conservative majority finding Maryland parents are now allowed to withdraw their children from public school on days that books with gay and transgender themes are taught, and upholding a Texas law requiring the users of websites with sexually explicit material provide identification verifying they're over 18.
And with that, Laura Jarrett joins us now in studio. So, Laura, walk our viewers through what happens now with birthright citizenship.
Yeah, Tom, we're already seeing some action in the lower courts tonight, people scrambling to try to get judges to agree with them that they still need nationwide relief under this decision, which means this is eventually going to end up right back at the Supreme Court, Tom.
All right, Laura Jarrett first. Laura, thank you. Also tonight, President Trump tonight making an all-out push to pass his big, beautiful bill, canceling his weekend travel to work the phones. But can he convince enough Republican senators to get on board? Ryan Nobles has been tracking the fast-moving developments all day from the Hill. Tonight, new battle lines over what President Trump calls his big, beautiful bill. It seems like there's a lot of thorny issues that you've got to work through, isn't it?
This is called, what I think you guys have said, making the sausage.
Yeah.
So we're making the sausage right now.
President Trump making a last-minute sales pitch for this massive bill that delivers on a slew of his campaign promises.
It's a great bill. It's a massive tax cut.
From a $4.5 trillion extension of the Trump tax cuts to hundreds of billions of dollars in funding for his mass deportation plan, plus eliminating taxes on tips and overtime.
It's a great bill. It's a popular bill, but will give no Democrats only because they don't want to vote for Trump. They have Trump derangement syndrome at levels never seen before.
Democrats slamming the Republican bill's cuts to social programs like food stamps and Medicaid, including imposing work requirements for those benefits. Democrats say that hurts vulnerable people.
Of course Americans hate this bill. It steals their Medicaid. It jacks up their premiums.
But tonight, it's Republicans that cannot get on the same page. North Carolina's Tom Tillis concerned about the impacts on rural hospitals.
We're moving and trying to make changes.
Wisconsin's Ron Johnson telling us the bill does not cut enough spending. Is there any one particular thing that you're still fighting for at this point?
President Trump said he wanted the Senate to make the bill better. I'd like to make it much better.
Whatever the Senate passes must once again pass the House. We press Speaker Mike Johnson. Could they be surprised by what the Senate sends them back?
Well, look, I haven't slept. Maybe is that on the phone with members?
The vast majority of Republicans support this bill, and President Trump said that he's open to moving the July 4th deadline. The Senate could begin voting as soon as tomorrow. Tom? Ryan Nobles for us tonight. Ryan, we thank you. The jury in the Sean Diddy Combs trial expected to start deliberating on Monday as the defense delivered closing arguments today.